Okay, welcome. Welcome to today's reflection. And today I want to talk a little bit about just this belief or this sense, maybe this wound that we might get from boarding school, which is around this sense of I don't fit in. So, enjoy. Okay, so at the weekend, I was off on the moors, the North Yorkshire moors, and I was off with scouts. And while I was there, I was spending time with some of the leaders who were kind of keeping an eye on the young people and spending time with the leaders. And one on one, I noticed that that's something I feel very comfortable with. And yet, this sense at the weekend is when there's a group of people that, I felt uncomfortable. If there's a group of people that I have a lot in common with, then it's like, yeah, it's fine. But if I'm with a group of people whose beliefs are different to mine, I notice that, I got this sense, especially at the weekend, that, I don't fit in here. And kind of relating that to boarding school is I felt at boarding school that I didn't fit in either. And although I was good at sport, I still felt deep inside I didn't fit in there. I wasn't, and I think partly because of the way I treated myself, I felt there was something wrong with me. And I'm often hearing this in boarding school literature, the idea that the separation that we get from our parents when we go to boarding school, that Joy Chevron talks about, this bereavement, we get this belief that I'm unlovable. And I feel from that perspective, we overcompensate. And that was just something I noticed at the weekend. If you see me going like that, it's because there's midges. I'm being bitten a bit. I noticed that I was overcompensating. So how that looked is trying to tell stories, maybe to make myself seem better than I was, and maybe this insecurity. And I just caught myself doing that at the weekend. It's like, okay. And reflection of one of the other leaders, what they said, it was like, yeah. Trying to be this kind of trying to overcompensate. And I often see this in, again, Nick Duffell's work, saying that we have this very brittle exterior as ex-boarders. We, but we look, as if we're really competent. It's like, yeah, wow, look at that person. He's CEO, or he's this, or he's that. But it hides this this wounding. And I was talking to someone recently who knows this person who's basically the top of their field in, a certain establishment in the UK, who went to boarding school. And, they were just saying that their beliefs about themselves is they think they're a piece of shit. That were their words. And it's like, and that's what I felt at school. That I was somehow flawed. So although at the weekend I was noticing I was presenting this, I've done this, I've done that, I noticed it was coming from insecurity rather than from, yeah, I'm struggling here, guys. This feels uncomfortable to me, you know. My way at boarding school was just to not say anything when I was in groups of people, just to be quiet and just to watch. So although I was a complier, as Nick Duffell says, I wasn't doing anything, breaking the rules like the rebel he talks about, I still would sit there and I wouldn't say very much. So noticing this aspect of I don't fit in, maybe you might resonate with this. Maybe you go, right, yeah, I really hear that I have a sense I don't fit in. Because I felt at school, I didn't fit in at school, but I didn't fit in at home either. I'd go home and I would be around my family. I just felt really socially awkward. And I know that's to do with teenager, but I wasn't educated how to feel more relaxed in myself. It was only really spending time in the monastery and just being authentic that, okay, yeah, this is who I am. So yeah, I might be a little bit rambled today, so I do apologise. Um, yeah. I think that's kind of it. It's just this. So just noticing when you are, maybe that's not an edge for you. That I don't fit in. It might be something else. I'm unlovable. So just noticing. And if we can offer our vulnerability in that space, and I mentioned to a few of the other leaders, I said, this feels uncomfortable to me. I don't feel comfortable, and I apologize, if I'm coming across as this. So if we can just show our vulnerability, and listening to reading Brené Brown today, just saying that as children we can often see vulnerability as a bad thing, but actually as we get into adulthood we need to see that it's a really positive thing. So if you notice something like I don't fit in or I'm unlovable coming in certain situations, is to really share that. This is what's coming up for me at the moment. This is how it feels. I feel a lot of grief. And maybe if we can emote, especially for young people, if they can see us sharing our vulnerability, that therefore gives them permission as well. Yeah. So just to finish up, for my podcast, I've got the author James Harper on this Friday. I've also been in contact with Nick Duffel, and Nick Duffel's going to be coming on to the podcast at the end of October. He's busy until then, so that's really exciting. So if you have questions for him, please do let me know. And I've also been in touch with Richard Beard, who has been in the press quite a lot recently, who's written the book Sad Little Men, about politicians and their boarding school, wounding. And he's also potentially might be interested in speaking on my podcast. So just some of the things in the mix. And also, I'm doing a men's circle as well on boarding school. So that's next Thursday. Please visit my website for the dates and the times and everything else. But yeah, so just really just invitation. It's like to explore. It's not to beat ourselves up to say, oh, I don't fit in. No, that's not. It's just to give that mindfulness to drop into our vulnerability that this is coming up for me. And I really see boarding school syndrome. It's complex trauma. Nick Duffel, reading him today, he was saying that, what sits for him most is developmental trauma. And I agree. And I also find that it's complex, so it means that it's not just one thing. It's that continual um, realization of, I've got this to work on. Okay, great. And we just keep going. And this helps to develop us as people. It helps to develop our wisdom. So if we can see that and turn it round from being a curse into a blessing, I feel that really helps us. So yeah, please watch the space. The interview with James Harper will go live next Tuesday. And yeah, if not, any questions, please let me know. Okay, blessings.